What's up, everybody? Good Monday morning, and welcome to today's Battlin Bucks podcast. I'm Mason Sapesky, your host. It's really technically supposed to be a long episode. I'm going to try to get through it as quickly as I possibly can. First off, I just have a little something short to say at the beginning, and we'll get into recapping the week for the Pirates. It was actually a really good week for the Pirates, and then we will discuss the MLB standings, where we are going into the All-Star break, and look ahead to recap the first half of the year and look ahead to the second half of the year. And then we will do the trade deadline discuss, and I promised last week where I'll discuss buyers, sellers, who I think could be on the trading block and where I think they could be headed as of now. And last but not least, we'll be looking at the next free series for the Pirates. Just a reminder, there is no episode next week because it's only one short series against the Phillies. It's All-Star week. Paul Skeens is starting, so congratulations to Paul. So can't wait to see him. And then we will actually recap the MLB draft I'll put here, let me write in my notes. We'll do that after the deadline before we get to our final segment. Pirates picked 3 really good players tonight, so I'm super excited about that. We'll get to that later, but first off, before we really get into anything, obviously you know me, and I've said multiple times on this channel that I condemn violence in all means, and that violence is no way to solve problems. And if you take nothing away from this episode, just take that away. There needs to be more love in this country. There really does. And until something is done, and until we can kind of agree to disagree, then stuff like what happened is going to continue to happen. We live in a democracy, and we live in a free nation. And we should respect those who make the ultimate sacrifice to lead and protect our nation, and those who make sacrifices to help this nation improve. Whether you like him or not, you have to admit that Donald Trump had a very luxurious lifestyle. He owned a TV show for several years. He was a real estate mogul, or he was a real estate star. He was a famous investor. He had board games. Donald Trump had it made. He decided that, he could be right now playing golf, sitting at a golf course with his grandchildren, or just relaxing at home watching television. Instead, he decided to give it all up to help our country become a better place. And whether you love him or hate him, there's people that are both, and I respect those that love Trump, and I respect those who hate him. I disagree with one side, and I'm not going to say which one. However, it's not fair to Donald Trump, and it's very sad to see that somebody who gave up a luxurious lifestyle while campaigning for the highest office in the nation yesterday was nearly assassinated. Or 2 days ago now, because it's technically Monday. It's unacceptable. We must stand as one country. And this is why I think the Pledge of Allegiance is said in schools. Because the Pledge of Allegiance, as we all know, is the following. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. One, and to the republic for which it stands. Did I say that right? I've been called to House all night. I haven't said the Pledge of Allegiance in years. That's embarrassing. Here, I pledge allegiance to the flag and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible. Here. Oh, these are early ones. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I think that's what I said. I'm sorry if I didn't say that, but anyway, there's 4 words that I want to talk about in the Pledge of Allegiance. One nation under God. It doesn't say there's a Republican nation, there's a Democrat nation. It doesn't say there's a blue country and there's a red country. It doesn't say there's a white country, and it doesn't say there's an African American country. It doesn't say there's an English country and there's a Spanish country. You get the point by now. Our diversities do strengthen us. But at the end of the day, we are one nation under God. And we need to be one nation under God, united as one. It's time for our country to put divisions aside and realize that God created us to serve his mission and to promote good on earth, so that one day we can enjoy the afterlife in heaven with him. We need to unite and work on bettering each other, not dividing. It's a shame that we have to continue to talk about this. It really is. It sickens me. And maybe when I was saying the Pledge of Allegiance earlier, maybe I didn't say it right. I'm sorry if I didn't say it right. But the moral of the story is, the United States is one nation under God. Period. God rules all. We need to start putting God back in places again. Because if you read the 10 Commandments, and I promise you, we're going to talk about the Pirates, and we're going to talk about baseball. I just have a little more to say. The 10 Commandments need to be taught more frequently. You shall not murder. The 6th commandment of God. Thou shalt not kill. The more we normalize the 10 Commandments and try to make them a part of our lives, the better off we will be. If people actually put political divisions aside and united as one nation under God, what happened yesterday probably wouldn't have happened. And during this all, the sad part is, hang on. This is on Yahoo. Corey Compatore, 50 years old. He was a former fire chief. Was murdered. Peacefully attending a political rally. Was murdered. Think about that. No matter who you support in this election, whether you want Joe Biden, to be our president for the next 4 years, or whether you want Donald Trump to be our president for the next 4 years. If you feel strongly about a candidate that you want to spend a part of your day going to their rally and supporting them, you should not have to fear that your life is on the line. And neither Joe Biden or Donald Trump should stand at a podium and be afraid if they don't turn their head or if they don't make a certain head motion that they're going to get shot and killed. It's sad that this is what we've become. It really is. So here's what I have to say. In conclusion, my thoughts and prayers are obviously with the Compatore family during this tough time. Somebody lost a husband tonight. Girls lost a dad. There's people out there that his family lost a beloved family member. That's what you need to look at. That's what you need to look at. And he sacrificed his life to keep his girls and wife alive. This man's the ultimate hero. And we all need to live. We all need to strive to live each and every day like Corey Compatore. He should be a role model to all of us. Rest in peace, Corey. Our thoughts and prayers also need to be with Donald Trump. Because like I said, Donald Trump sacrificed everything he had to try to help our country become a better place for his kids and grandchildren. He loves this country so much. He really does. And yes, there are people, and if you wanted to say this, you can definitely say this. There are people that in the past made crazy comments about him. That's unacceptable. Political debates should focus on policy, not character. So my thoughts and prayers are with the Trump family. Obviously Corey Compatore's family, as they grieve their loss. And also, like I said, for former President Trump, that he has a speedy recovery. I didn't imagine that we would be here talking about this. But here we are. That's all I'm going to say. And again, I try not to be political on this channel. I really don't. But this is a time where we need to all look ourselves in the mirror and say, do we treat each other with respect? Am I fair to each other? Thank you for listening to me for 10 minutes about them. Alrighty, now let's talk about some baseball. Sally, obviously, obviously it's been harder for me to pay attention to baseball or think about baseball here for the past day or two, obviously because of what I just talked about in detail. And if you just skipped over it, I highly recommend going back and listening because, yeah, that's why. But anyway, let's start off with Tuesday the 9th in Milwaukee. The Pirates beat the Brewers 12-2. The Pirates, this was surprising to me. And first off, I just want to say the Pirates had a great road trip. It is so thrilling to have come home on a 5-1 road trip and go into the All-Star break 500. When you look at this team in prior years, and I know I'm not crazy, you guys all know that Selton and Charrington are my favorites. Well, Charrington's done a decent job, selling not so much. But y'all know I can be critical of them. However, they've made a lot of progress. They really have. And here are the facts. in 2021, I'm not even going to count 2020 because that was not a normal season. That was just a season to have something during COVID to entertain people. 2021 at the break, the Pirates were 34-56. 22 games under. 2022 at the very same break. Pirates were 39-54. 15 games under. 2023. Pirates were 41-49. 8 games under. And in 2024, the Pirates are 500 going into the All-Star break. That's progress. They've made progress every year. And it's been somewhat significant. You see a jump from 7 games, now it's 8 games. So good for them. I mean, what they're doing is, it's not moving at as fast of a pace as we would like, but it's working. It really is. And I'm eager to see the future. And I'm so glad that for the first time since 2018, we finally could start to look forward to the second half of Pirates baseball. Because we're in this. We really are. Things are getting exciting. I can't wait for what's to come. Let's look at 2 more years. I want to look at 2018 and 2019. Just real quick. I'm sorry, I know I was trying to make this quick and running behind, but I just had to give my tangent I gave earlier. I mean, it's very important that we have discussions like this. This world's a scary place. It really is. Wait, the 10th was the All-Star game, yeah. But 2018, Pirates were 7 games under. This time in 2018, that's the year they acquired Chris Archer. 7 games under at the All-Star break. Then they got hot, and then they decided to acquire Chris Archer. Well, it's backfired. So look at this. 2019, they were 5 games under. So this is the best they've been since like 2015 at the All-Star break. It's pretty darn good, if you ask me. So they're doing well. Anyway, let's get into Tuesday night's game in Milwaukee finally. I was surprised by this for sure. I mean, the Pirates scored 8 runs on Monday, considering the fact that this is not a good offensive team, and offense is definitely their clear-cut weakness. Scoring 8 and 12 runs in back-to-back days is very surprising, but I'm happy. I mean, this team, they're in the hang of it. I mean, it takes time, and they've done a good job. So, very pleased by this for sure. Big win. Really enjoyed this one, and off to a good start in Milwaukee. On Wednesday, the Pirates fell in Milwaukee by a final score of 9-0. Not going to talk about this game much. I mean, I hate to say it. I don't think Martin Perez is very good, and that's the one thing I do hope the Pirates are sellers at when it comes to this deadline, and hopefully trade him for something, because I don't think this is a good fit. I really don't. I was optimistic at first, but considering the successes of our Tayson being our strength and him not being the best, I mean, I think you trade him and give Quinn Priester more shots and Ortiz. This rotation's, and even Gonzalez, Marco Gonzalez, who we'll get to in a couple minutes. This rotation's stacked. Martin Perez doesn't want to be in the bullpen. Trade him away to a team that needs him and move on. So I was upset by this, but not really. On Thursday, this was definitely the most interesting and exciting game of the series. Paul Skeens pitched 7 no-hit innings. The Pirates actually broke through, I think in the 7th. Yasmani Grandal doubled center field, scoring Jack Sawinski. this is according to ESPN, giving the Pirates a 1-0 lead. That's how much they won it by. Colin Holderman and Aroldis Chapman held down the fort with the bullpen, and the Pirates hung on for a 1-0 win. Very stressed and nervous during this game, but super glad to see the Pirates pull this one out. Definitely felt good to get a series win in Milwaukee. So yeah. I kind of had a funny feeling that the Pirates, after winning the series in Milwaukee, would lose the series in Chicago, based off how they play against bad teams. Thankfully, the Pirates not only proved me wrong, but they proved to be one other word that I never thought I would say. Very disciplined. They're a disciplined team this year. Last year, when we were about 500 and in the division lead, we lost a series at home to the lowly A's. The Pirates typically don't do well against bad teams. That's typically like when the wheels just stop and they play the level of competition. However, they did not this time. It was incredible. So I'm thrilled. And first things first, I just want to say this. I'm going to definitely make White Sox fans mad by saying this, but they probably agree with me because the whole MLB agrees with me. The White Sox are just bad. I mean, I watched them play. I was shocked to see how bad they were, and I think a lot of that relies on not their roster, because I think their roster is not bad. I mean, I'm stunned this team's as bad as it is, because look at their roster. I mean, they do have 5 solid pitchers in Crochet, Betty, Kopech, Schuster, Soroka, Forby. I mean, they have solid pitching. They do. Catcher, Martin Maldonado. I don't think Martin Maldonado is bad. You got Andrew Vaughn, who has potential. Paul DeJong, Benintendi, Pham, Roberts Jr., Seats, and Eloy. This team has dual players. It's just they're not using them right, and I blame that on Pedro Grifol, their manager. It's an organization that needs a complete reset, and the Pirates went to the south side of Chicago and took complete and total advantage, starting on Friday night with a 4-1 win. One thing I was proud about the Pirates was this. They were down in every single game in the series at least once. They didn't give in. They came back. They crawled back. And the White Sox continued to attempt to fight back. However, the Pirates wouldn't let them. Because when they fought back, attempted to fight back, guess what? The Pirates just pulled away. You saw that yesterday. You saw that on Saturday. This team is playing very well right now, and I really do like the trajectory this team is on. Friday night, Marco Gonzalez pitched a great game, only allowing, I think he allowed the run. Yeah, he did. 1 run, and he hasn't pitched in forever. He was hurt. So, credit to him. Great job by Marco Gonzalez. Really nice job. Pirates won 4-1. Very pleased to see this. Very pleased to see how we took advantage against a not great team. Yesterday, the Pirates won 6-2. It was a close game for a while. White Sox led 1-0. Then we took a lead. It was 3-1. Then it was 3-2. White Sox scrubbed back, made it 3-2. And then, like we did, we just pulled away, and that's what I'm happy about with this team. They pull away, and that's good. So, very happy to see this, for sure. And today, Pirates weren't looking good for a while. We were down 1-0. Then Joey Bart hit a home run, plus ahead 3-1. Chicago attempted to crawl back, make it 3-2. Then it was 4-2. Then it was 4-3. Then the Pirates, I think this is how it was. Let's check ESPN. Yeah, it was 4-2. Then it was 4-. No, I'm sorry. Cruz double. It was 1-0. Then Cruz doubled to tie it at 1 apiece. Then Andrew Benintendi homered for Chicago to make it 2-1. Then Joey Bart homered to give us a 4-2 lead. Then White Sox made it 4-3. Then we just went off, scoring 5 straight runs, making it 8-3. Then Chicago scored another 8-4, and then Brian Reynolds homered to make it 9-4. That was your final score. very good weekend. Very proud of this team. 5-1 on this Midwest road trip. I didn't think it was possible, but hey, they found a way to do it. So congratulations to them, and congratulations to Salon. He did a very nice job this trip. Very nice job. I'll give him all the credit there. He did great. It was a great trip, and provides the Pirates with momentum going into the All-Star break at 500. So, yeah, I mean, here's how I think of it. And I'll probably repeat this again at the end. We're 500 going into the break. The second half of the year, guess what? We're essentially 0-0 starting the second half of the year. Let's get on a run here and get in. I really think this team can make the playoffs. I do. This team is on an upward trajectory. We're really close, and like I said, I'm super excited for what's to come. So, very good to see. Anyway, let's get into the standings now, shall we? Before we discuss the trade deadline, so this is how it's going to work. So obviously I mentioned the deadline. When I announce a team, I'm going to tell you whether or not I think they should buy or sell. When I announce them in the divisional, then I'll do, as normal, the wild card. Then after that, we'll discuss some players I have available from the selling teams and which buyers they could possibly be going to. So yeah, this would be a fun one. All right, here we go. Baltimore Orioles. Let's do the standings now, shall we? Starting with the AL East. Baltimore Orioles, they're 58-38. You all know that. That's a buyer. New York Yankees, 58-40. 1 game back. Buyer. Boston Red Sox, 53-42. 4.5 games back. Buyer. Tampa Bay Rays, 48-48. 500 apiece. 10 games back. Seller. And once we finish the AL wildcard talk, I'll get into why I say that. Toronto Blue Jays, 44-52. 14 games back. Seller. NL Central, Cleveland Guardians, 58-37. Buyer. They're waiting, by the way. Minnesota Twins, 54-42. 4.5 back. Buyer. Kansas City Royals, 52-45. 7 games back. Buyer. Detroit Tigers, 47-50. 12 games back. Seller. Chicago White Sox, 27-71. 32.5 back. Obviously, you know that one. Seller. West, AL West. Seattle Mariners, 52-46. Buyer. Houston Astros, 50-46. 1 game back. Buyer. Texas Rangers, 46-50. 5 games back. I had this one originally as a seller, but by the looks of it, you're only 5 games back in the division. I'm actually going to move you guys out of the sellers tab and move you guys to stand pat. I actually had a couple Texas guys on this list as well, so I'm going to get rid of those guys. Or did I? I actually didn't, so they're staying in the stand pat for now because of the division being close for them. Los Angeles Angels, 41-55, 10 games back, seller. Oakland Athletics, 37-61, 15 games back, obviously seller. National League East, onto the NL now. NL East, Philadelphia Phillies, 62-34, best record in baseball, just swept the Dodgers, but lost the series to the A's. Anyway, though, without further ado, buyer. You knew that one. Atlanta Braves, 53-42. 8.5 back, buyer. New York Mets, 49-46. 12.5 back, buyer. Washington Nationals, 44-53. 18.5 back. Just changed that one today, actually. From stand pat to buyer for the Mets. And I changed the Nationals from stand pat to seller. Miami Marlins, 33-63. 29 games back, buyer. No, I'm just joking. I'm sorry. I was just teasing there. They're a seller, for sure. Probably shouldn't have joked about that, but yeah, they're a seller. Add some fun to this video, shall we? Every video needs fun. Or most videos need fun. Shouldn't say that. because some things are, yeah. I was just trying to joke around there, so I'm sorry if that upset anybody. NL Central, Milwaukee Brewers, 55-42. Buyer. St. Louis Cardinals, 50-46. Buyer. Pittsburgh Pirates, 500, 48-48. Stand pat. And I'll get into why I say stand pat for each of these teams at the end of the video. The ones I said stand pat for. Or now, or soon. Cincinnati Reds, 47-50. Seller. Chicago Cubs, 47-51. Seller. NL West, Los Angeles Dodgers, 56-41. Buyer. Arizona Diamondbacks, 49-48. Stand pat. 7 back. San Diego Padres, 50-49. I'm actually going to make a change. We're going to move them out of the buyer category to stand pat. I had them in buyer earlier this week. They're no longer a buyer. They are going now in stand pat. San Francisco Giants, 47-50, 9 back, stand pat. Colorado Rockies, 34-63, seller. All right. So despite Detroit being 47-50, this is why I said they'd be a seller. Because they're 7 games out of a wildcard spot and 12 games out of a division spot. There's no way you're coming back from that. There's no way, considering how hot it is now. So it's best if you sell this year. You're doing well. Continue to work on improving the record. Get closer and see yourselves up well for 2025 because you really are almost there. So that's what I have to say there. AL wildcard. Let's look at the wildcard matchups if things were today, shall we? You get the 6 seed Red Sox and the 3 seed Mariners, the 5 seed Twins and the 4 seed Yankees. Winner of Twins Yankees would play the, let me check, 2 seed Orioles, and winner of Twins Yankees would play the 1 seed Guardians, and winner of Red Sox Mariners would play the 2 seed Orioles. So yeah, there you go. Royals are 2 games back of the last wildcard spot. Astros are 3.5 back of the last wildcard spot. Rays are 5.5 back of the last wildcard spot. Tigers, 7 back of the last wildcard spot. Rangers, 7.5 back of the last wildcard spot. Blue Jays, 9.5 back of the last wildcard spot. Angels, 12.5 back of the last wildcard spot. Athletics, 17.5 back of the last wildcard spot. White Sox, 27.5 back. So the reason I put Texas as a stand pat and not a seller was because they're only 5 back in the division. If you get hot, you can easily fix 5 games. They're not going to be a wildcard team this year. The only way they get in is through the division, and we know that. However, if things don't improve fast, on our next episode, they will be moved into the seller category. And that means possibly trading away Max Scherzer. Why the Rays are sellers, despite being 500. They're 5.5 back. They're even deeper out in the division. They're 8.5 back of the, I think they're 8.5 back in the division, 5.5 back in, hang on, 10 games back in the division, 10 games back in the division, 5.5 back in the wild card. They're probably not making the playoffs this year. So I think it's best that they sell, for sure. The 3 teams that, like I've said, there's 3 teams that have no chance at the postseason. The White Sox, the Angels, and the Athletics. I was thinking about moving the Blue Jays into that category. However, just decided to give it a couple more weeks. 2 weeks, if things don't get improved fast, they're going to be in that category sooner rather than later. And Texas and Detroit are on their way to that category too. I mean, we're running out of time. We only have like 70 some games left, less than 70 games for a lot of teams. So time is running out. That's for sure. and we need to think about that. So yeah, National League. Let's look at the NL standings now, shall we? Atlanta Braves, they have a 4-game lead. Matchups. We would have the 5-seed Cardinals and the 4-seed Braves, 6-seed Mets, 3-seed Brewers. Your 2-seed would be the Dodgers. They would meet up against the winner of the Mets-Brewers series. Your 1-seed would be the Phillies against the Cardinals and the Braves series winner. Diamondbacks are 1 game back of the final wild card right now. The Padres are 1 game back of the final wild card right now. We, the Pirates, yes, are 1.5 games back of the final wild card spot right now. Let's go. Yes. Very happy to see. Very exciting. For sure. Giants, you're 3 games back. Reds, you're 3 games back. Cubs, you're 3.5 back. Nationals, you're 6 back. Rockies, you're 16 back. Marlins, you're 16.5 back. So I'm going to have a ton of explaining here to do for the NL as to why I assigned each team each spot. And then we'll talk about the players that could possibly be dealt and where I think they should be dealt to. We'll talk about this again in 2 weeks when we meet, because the deadline will be 2 days later. So just giving a little glimpse of it now before it gets really into it, right? So the Mets. Obviously the Mets are a buyer because they're in the playoff chase. They're in the playoffs right now. If it ended today, they'd be a playoff team. So they deserve where they are. The Diamondbacks. I have them in the stand pat column because, look, their schedule between now and the deadline means a lot. They play at the Cubs, at the Royals, the Pirates, and 1 game against the Nationals. If they keep winning, then yes, they should be a buyer. However, if things go south, they could be a seller. But right now, I think they're best standing pat. Because while they may not be a playoff, I don't know. I'm sorry. Just was thinking there. But anyway, I think that they're better off not risking trading prospects or making big sacrifices just to get 1 guy for a possible rental. So, I mean, this team, and plus 2, this team's good. It just lost it was just in the World Series last year or so. This team by itself, with these players, with these guys, can get super hot and get into the playoffs. Mike Hazen, who's one of the best minds in baseball, I trust him to do his job and do well because he can get this team into the playoffs. And I think the best way for them is to stay pat. I do. Padres. I think they should stand pat because they risk giving up valuable prospects and furthering down their farm system and weakening their farm system for future years where they might have a serious World Series chance and need 1 guy to put them over the top. However, they don't have enough prospects at the deadline to trade for him, and they end up losing the World Series or not making it because the trade was rejected. So I would just stay pat if I were the Padres. It's not worth it this year. Focus on improving the roster in other ways. So that's just my advice. Pirates, I would stand pat right now because, look, we don't know yet what the situation is. It's a tough schedule coming up, which we'll get to at the end of this. But you obviously don't have many selling pieces. And if you sell again this year, it'll just show that we're going to be a consistent seller, not a competitive ball club. And that's not what anybody wants. However, I would not make a massive deal and sacrifice star prospects to get a rental and miss the playoffs. I really wouldn't. So that's why I think Pittsburgh should stand pat. Giants, they should stand pat because this team's good enough to contend. So I wouldn't mightily sell everything away and start a rebuild. However, this team needs help from its prospects and this team needs more development. So I would not do a massive prospect trade to get just 1 guy in there and possibly bomb out or screw up. I still have never used that word. Sorry about that. Or screw up and miss the playoffs entirely. And be all that, like they lost all those firm guys for 1 guy, only missed the playoffs. So that's not what I would want if I were the Giants. So I'd stay on pat. Reds, I think, should sell because they have a good young farm. They have a good young core of guys coming up. They only really need 2 more guys to that core to be a solid competitor most years moving forward. They had bad luck this year. They had injuries this year. This team is a really good young team. They're going to be a competitor in 2025. They might just be 2 young prospects, a pitcher and a hitter away from doing that. And get those guys at the deadline and prep for 2025. That's why I say sell. Chicago, they have a ton of needs right now. Craig Counsell's a good manager. Even he hasn't experienced the most success with this team. This team needs to be built his way. Wait till the offseason to get those quality free agents. Make trades and develop right now. So, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And that's all for the explaining part. Now let's get into the players available part from the sellers for the buyers possibly and discuss what teams they could be good on selling. I did not include Mason Miller and Brett Rooker in this because I think it would be silly for the A's to trade them. I really do. I think this team's headed in the right direction, the A's, that's for sure. So I'd hold on to them. I would. So, yeah. Anyway, let's look at players available now, shall we? Cody Bellinger with the Cubs. I'd trade him to either Cleveland, Minnesota, Houston, or the Braves. Kyle Hendricks, Chicago. I'd trade him to either Baltimore, Cleveland, Houston, or the Dodgers. David Bote, Chicago. I'd trade him to Boston. I think he'd be a good fit in Boston. I think he'd upgrade Boston tremendously. Drew Smalley of the Cubs. I'd trade him to either the Royals or the Padres. He'd help those teams out tremendously. Third baseman Yohan Moncada. I would trade him to either Kansas City, Milwaukee, or the Dodgers with the White Sox. Forgot to say that, but I think the Dodgers would be a good fit for him. They could use a guy like this for sure. So, yeah. Eloy Jimenez, Boston and Kansas City. I think he'd be good in Boston. They need help with the AIDS, and I think it'd be a good help for them. So, I think Boston should look into this. Mike Clevenger, White Sox, Baltimore, Houston, Milwaukee, St. Louis, and the Dodgers. I think he'd be great with Houston or St. Louis. So, I think those teams should make a push for him for sure. Paul DeJong, Boston, Cleveland. Sorry about that. But I think he'd be a great fit in Boston. I think Bote, Jimenez, and DeJong would be good fits for the Red Sox. That'd provide them depth, and it would be good. So if I were Boston, I'd be all in on those 3 guys. So, yeah. Tommy Pham, Minnesota, Seattle, Atlanta, and the Dodgers. I think those would be all good fits for him. I think Atlanta should definitely make a move on Pham. It would help them tremendously. Chad Kuhl, Kansas City, or the Padres. This would be a good guy for the Padres to possibly acquire. I think it would be good for them to have a guy like Chad Kuhl in their bullpen. So, Padres, make your move. Brent Suter of the Reds. Kuhl's with the White Sox, by the way. Brent Suter of the Reds. Royals and Padres. The Royals to try to acquire Suter, booster up that bullpen, that's for sure. Acquired somebody yesterday. I think it was Hunter Harvey, I want to say, from the Nationals. Harvey. Yeah. Hunter Harvey. It'd be nice to see them make the playoffs at the Royals. So, yeah, Hunter Harvey. Elias Diaz, Rockies. Baltimore, Boston, Yankees, St. Louis, San Diego. This is a guy I think would make a great fit with the Yankees. I think the Yankees need some more catching depth, and I think Diaz would be great for them. So the Yankees should make a move here, for sure. Jack Flaherty from the Tigers. This could be huge for Detroit. Baltimore, Houston, Milwaukee, St. Louis, and the Dodgers. I would trade him personally back to where he was at. St. Louis would be a great fit, and I think he'd prosper there in his return. So, Flaherty to the Cardinals. Again, yeah. Mark Canha, Detroit Tigers. Minnesota, Seattle, Atlanta, and the Dodgers. I think it'd be great if the Braves can't get Pham, they need to try to get Canha. He'd be good there. If not, then if the Braves do get Pham, then Seattle or the Dodgers would be great for him. Probably Seattle, so that's what I'd think. Carson Kelly, Boston, Baltimore, Yankees, St. Louis, San Diego. I think San Diego's try to acquire Kelly from the Tigers and get some more catching depth. Maybe we could even do a package with Flaherty and Kelly. That would be a good Padres-Dodgers deal, and I think that would work for sure. Brandon Drury, Boston Red Sox. If they can't get Bodie, or Chicago doesn't want to trade Bodie, I would try for Drury. You can get him, and he could be a valuable player for sure. Miguel Sano, Boston and Houston. I think Houston would be a great fit for him. They had issues with Abreu. I think they need Sano, and he'd help them tremendously. Kevin Peeler, Cleveland, National. I think it's the Nationals, yeah. Now, yeah. Cleveland, Kansas City, Atlanta, Philadelphia. No, he's actually with the Angels. I'm sorry. My bad. I think Kevin Peeler would be a good fit in Philadelphia with the Phillies. He'd be definitely a help. This is the guy they need. I would go all in on Kevin Peeler if I were Philadelphia. Tanner Scott, Miami, Pittsburgh, San Diego, Kansas City, Cleveland. Again, I think this is a guy that would be good with San Diego. I think San Diego has a lot to give up, or some pieces to give up. They don't have a lot to give up, but you can maybe give up two quality guys to get Scott, and use your draft picks to get some more guys at the draft this year. So, yeah, maybe San Diego would be a good fit. If not, Cleveland, for sure. So, I'm sorry I didn't include more players. Those are just some of the ones I included. I'll try to do more for the next episode, closer to the deadline. But as we get closer to the end of this episode, I do want to talk somewhat about the draft and who the Pirates selected. And just a little bit about the draft in general. So, Guardians, they won the draft lottery this year and had the rights to the first overall pick. They picked Travis Bazana, funny name, second baseman out of Oregon State. So congratulations to Travis. Congratulations to Cleveland. Good pick by them. This was the right pick, and I'm thrilled for them. Another big local news at number 7. The Cardinals selected J.J. Weatherholt. He is from Mars area and went to West Virginia, WVU. And so congratulations to J.J. and the Cardinals. Very happy with this. So, yeah, that was good. And just one more little story. I was the manager for my high school baseball team, and we played against a guy by the name of David Shields. Went to Mount Lebanon High School, and tonight David Shields was drafted by the Kansas City Royals. So congratulations to David Shields. It was nice to see him pitch in high school, even though he dominated us. And after the game, obviously, I got to shake his hand in the post-game line. So, yeah, that was definitely very cool. So congratulations to David Shields on being selected by the Royals, and I hope he balls out, has a great career, so that's what I hope for him. Anyway, let's talk about who the Pirates got, shall we? Pirates drafted Connor Griffin, shortstop out of Jackson Prep. Think he's good. Think he's definitely somebody you could have in your system. He's powerful. And I think he's somebody good that you could have for next year's trade deadline. I mean, next year I expect the team to be buyers and to be all in for sure, regardless of what happens this year. This team's going to probably be all in next year, so I think he's a great piece to have for a possible trade when we're going all in. So, great pick there. So, good job by Ben Cherington, that's for sure. I hope he's a Pirate, I really do, but who knows if he stays. Sorry, I'm getting tired. With the 37th pick, we selected Levi Sterling, pitcher from Notre Dame High School in California. This is somebody I really hope stays because, look, our rotation's solid now, but you never know about the future. If he does well, we could fast-track him to the big leagues, and he could possibly become a depth piece. If not, he goes into the bullpen, which is the one thing I think we need at the trade deadline right now. And I'll wait to say something, but I'm going to say it. But I think Sterling's great, and I hope we could get him possibly in the bullpen here at some point. So I'd keep him, I'd hold on to him, and very glad to have him. Welcome to Pittsburgh, Levi and Connor. And 47th pick was Wyatt Sanford, shortstop from Independence High School in Texas. Was a good pick. Wasn't real crazy about it. Was still a quality pick, but yeah, I think this is somebody who we could definitely possibly trade away. I mean, we have a million shortstops, so obviously, but Cruz, got Mitch Jebb, kid from Michigan State, was drafted last year in the farm system. So, yeah, that's what I have to say about that. Not bad at all. So, we got deep farm system, playing good at the major leagues. I think the future is bright, and I think we could do multiple things, not just this year, but moving forward as well. So very happy about that, for sure. I'm very happy about how this draft went in all in all. So anyway, one guy I think the Pirates should have never let go because of how much potential I think he has, and I think they should bring him back at the deadline from the Oakland Athletics. He proved this again on Friday night against Philly, and that's Oswaldo Bido. He was bad last year. He definitely had his moments where he struggled, but he was pretty good for the most part. I mean, he came in and he pitched some solid innings. I remember last year against the Braves in that pitcher's matchup against Spencer Strider. It was a Monday night game. It was the day before we left for California for our baseball trip video, which I recommend you checking that out too. But I think that Bido could be a good fit here. I mean, I like Bido, and I really hope he comes back at the deadline. Just send Cass over to the ace for Oswaldo Bido. So he's somebody I'd like to have back. That's for sure. Anyway, we'll talk about him and other trade deadline stuff more closer to the time. Let's focus on these couple games here, or these few series the next 2 weeks, shall we? Friday night, we start our series against the Philadelphia Phillies. It looks like Aaron Nola is going to be on the mound for them Friday night. Our pitcher's undecided. That game starts at 6:40 Friday night. Saturday against the Phillies, no pitching update yet, 6:40 p.m. Sunday, same ordeal, but 1:45 p.m. start. And that's your first series after the All-Star break with the Philadelphia Phillies. Monday the 22nd, we host the Cardinals at 6:40 p.m. Tuesday, 23rd, is a 6:40 p.m. game with the Cardinals. And Wednesday, the 24th, is a 12:45 game with the Cardinals. Thursday is an off day, but the team heads out west for Friday, the 26th. That's up with Diamondbacks at 9:40 p.m. Saturday, the 27th, is at 8:10. And Sunday, the 28th, is at 4:10. So that's your upcoming series for the Pirates. And then right after that's the trade deadline, and then we're into August, if you think about it. I mean, this season's going very fast. It really is. And like I always say, it's always a pleasure to do this. I really do enjoy this a lot. I can't wait to bring back the spreadsheet, the playoff probability spreadsheet that's coming back for the next episode. So, yeah, we're going to make these episodes fun. I really love this show. This is one of my favorite parts of the week, actually, this show. So, yeah, really love filming this for you guys. It's very true, and can't wait for the next one in 2 weeks. So, in the meantime, I just ask everybody to remember to love each other, treat each other like family, kindly, with respect, dignity, love, and hope. That's all I have. Have a good one. Take care. Stay safe. And as always, peace. See you in 2.